All right, Ryan. You tweeted to me. What was it? Let's see. You didn't tweet to me. You tweeted out some of the clips I've been saying with Marco Rubio and John Ratcliffe have a somewhat surreal feel to them that is coupled with this 180-day impending report. It feels like we're heading towards something really special, something that will change the world as we know it. And then I said, "Want to bet?" And you said yes.
Yeah, and I
So,
and I want to emphasize the reason I put feels in capitalized letters
uh-huh.
is to emphasize that I acknowledge that I could be completely wrong. That it might just
Yes.
be my failing, and maybe I'm a lunatic. Well, I am a lunatic, but maybe I'm a UFO lunatic. But I'm
Yeah.
willing to make a bet regardless, because even though I acknowledge that I could be wrong, I feel confident enough that certain parameters could be met where I'd be willing to wager some money.
Okay, so I guess the question is, what can we actually bet on here? Like we've got the 180-day report coming out, but you said you don't want to bet anything specifically around that because it's a bit, I guess, uncertain what's actually coming
Yeah,
out.
I mean, let's look at this from a logical perspective. If you look at the public relations, like Susan Goff,
Mm-hmm.
she's gone back and forth about Elizondo did work for ATIP, he didn't work for ATIP. ATIP studied UFOs, ATIP didn't study UFOs. So we're dealing from my perspective, potentially we're dealing with reluctancy to be transparent on this issue. So that gives me pause. On the other hand, I still think the 180-day report is going to contribute to an escalation that I see continuing beyond the 180-day report. In other words, I don't think this is going to just fizzle out and it's like, well, this didn't go anywhere. I think the escalation is absolutely going to continue because I believe that the UFO subject is tangibly real and is a mystery, and that the U.S. government has smoking gun evidence of craft that maneuver in ways that are not known to exist in any military inventory in the world. So that is my position.
Right. So let me just go back to something Marco Rubio said. He was asked, "You're on the Intel committee. They don't even tell you what's going on." And he replied, "Well, I think they tell us what's going on. I mean, the stuff flying over the top of our military installations, and they don't know who's flying it. They don't know what it is, so that's a problem. We need to find out if we can." Which doesn't really suggest that they actually have any evidence. Or do you think that this is evidence that is being hidden from Marco Rubio? And if so, why would we get it in this report or after this report?
No, I think Marco Rubio is just being careful with his words because he and I know this is probably what you would expect a UFO nut like me to say, but I think he's being careful with his words because he realizes the weight of this whole thing. And he doesn't want to be too extreme in how he words anything, which is why he's very open to it being, well, maybe there's a perfectly logical explanation, as if suggesting that maybe this has nothing to do with extreme technology. But I actually believe he probably doesn't lean in that direction, but he's trying to be very careful with his wording because of the weight of this issue and how it's perceived by the public.
So, do you think he thinks it's aliens?
No, I don't think he thinks it's aliens, but I do think that he has been briefed on it and that he acknowledges that
Hmm.
even with the full power of the United States military, whether that's satellites, all of the sensor collecting infrastructure all over the place, even that at the full disposal of the United States military and intelligence gathering apparatus, they still don't know what it is. That alone is hugely significant. So if they don't know what it is, even with everything at their fingertips, then I think it's pretty clear that he's seen data suggesting that this is some weird stuff. Because if it wasn't weird and it was mundane, then he wouldn't be tiptoeing around it like this, and he would not give credence to, well, we don't know what it is and we need to find out what it is. And he also made another comment. He said, well, if it did end up being, this was in a previous interview, if it did end up being something really weird like non-human intelligence, that would probably be better than if it was technology that has leapfrogged the United States military and owned by the Russians or the Chinese. So
Sure.
yes, I do think he's been briefed. I do think he's been given classified briefings that demonstrate technology that is of unknown origin. That's what I believe. Yes.
So I think, like, what I think about it. I think there's kind of a disconnect, not a disconnect, but like a disagreement here between me and you in where we think what what the military actually knows. Like, I would argue that they don't know for sure that there are physical craft buzzing around over military bases, except perhaps for like drones and of course planes and things like that. But I guess you feel that there's a good case to be made that there are unusual craft, like craft that kind of like go very very fast or have
Yes.
instantaneous acceleration or
Hmm.
have one of the five observables
Or
uh,
or
out there.
exceeding the sound barrier without any
Right.
sonic booms, or
See that in itself to me would be an extraordinary thing if
absolutely,
that
absolutely.
that thing is true. And yet you feel, I guess, that that's kind of already proven to be the case.
Well, now now granted, I can't prove my position, right? So my position is a matter of belief. It's certainly not a
Right.
fact. It's definitely not a fact, but my belief based upon my analysis of the 70-year UFO history and of the escalation that's occurred now and of statements that have come out of people like John Ratcliffe and Marco Rubio and Elizondo that, yeah, I think that I do think they have the sensor data that verifies unknown craft maneuvering in ways that are not known to exist. And I think that they have it to such an extent that we could call it a smoking gun. Now, they have not released that information. And whether that's some sort of a cover up or it's just bureaucracy that doesn't want to bring this to the public or whatever, I do think they have that data somewhere. Yes, I do. I believe that. Yes.
So how could we formulate a bet around this? How could we do something that, say, in the next or the remainder of this year, say, that you think will come to pass? How could we actually measure the effect?
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, well, will the government say we have evidence, actual conclusive evidence that physical craft are flying around?
see, you use the word conclusive. See,
Highly convincing. I don't know. Good evidence.
I mean, How? Well, let me ask you this: how would they word it if they weren't? If it wasn't conclusive, which I think it is conclusive. So if they said it wasn't, if they worded it in a way where you didn't get the impression it was conclusive, then they're just
Well, I mean, they could say just say reports. We have reports of
no. I think they'll go
flying
further than
craft
that.
that.
I think they'll go
Okay,
further
so
than
we
that. Now,
have
whether they do that in the
some kind of
180-day
data.
report or whether they do that post the 180-day report, I don't know. But I do believe yes, eventually they're going to say we have high confidence and or proof that there are
Hmm.
vehicles of unknown origin operating in ways that we cannot replicate. Yes, I do believe that will take place.
So eventually, it's a bit open ended. I mean, that could be any time in the
That's
next 100 years.
true. That's true.
But
But I'll tell you this, the way this is escalating, if it fizzles out, like let's say it just doesn't go any further and it just fizzles out and nothing of great substance or significance emerges from this, then I will say, oh, Mick West was right. Absolutely. If 5 years from now, 5 years from now, it's just nothing of great significance or tangible has occurred, I'm gonna be your most I'm gonna be the most enthusiastic uh, member of a metabunk that you've ever seen.
excellent. Well, that will be on March the 24th, 2026. So we'll regroup. I'm sure we'll regroup a few times before that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Like, will nothing happen? I think we've had this UFO thing going on for since the 50s, and to a certain degree earlier, but like with like investigations and media attention since the 50s, and it's we've not had any progress. And I mean, obviously, you think that this is different, but I think there
Yeah,
have been
it's
times
different
in the
because, for
past.
example, Congress has been given classified briefings, which I think are significant. In other words, data that they are not willing to share with the
Uh,
public on
yeah, yeah.
UFOs. I think there's a
Well,
distinction there. And also,
yeah.
the U.S. government is known to have said that in 1969, they were done studying UFOs with the close of Project Blue Book. Now, conspiracy theorists were like, nope, don't believe it.
Hmm.
And guess what? The U.S. government was not being forthright because we now know that they were studying UFOs since like 2007 with two programs: OSAP, Advanced Aerospace Weapons Systems Application Program, and ATIP, Advanced
Right.
Aerospace Threat Identification Program. So
But they stopped for quite a
so
while.
well,
Well, I guess
potentially
they
that
wouldn't.
that we know of, yes.
But why would they stop? I mean, if people are still going to report sightings of unidentified like aircraft and whatnot, it's not like every single aircraft in the sky can be identified or every single light in the distance is going to be unidentified. It seems like the problem of identifying things that are a bit too far away is an evergreen problem because there's always going to be something that's a little bit further than your sensors can detect or that your situational awareness can comprehend, and that you're always trying to improve upon. But I guess that's kind of almost in a way a different question. If there's things that's too far away, are there things that are close enough that are unidentified that we're dealing with?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And
Yeah.
Elizondo, when he was on the Peacock program, I think I don't
Right. Yeah.
remember the person he was talking to, but he said that I think he said that they've gotten as close to like 90 feet. Maybe was the figure he used.
Yeah. I think yeah, something around that. Less than 100 feet
And
anyway, which is very
and
close. It's
and
like across the road,
he's also
basically.
said that there have been um, other incidents we haven't heard about. That
Hmm.
some of them even more compelling than the ones we know about, and that's been echoed by John Ratcliffe, who said there's more incidents we haven't learned, and he said that they've even acquired satellite imagery. So if that's true,
Yeah.
then they have some pretty good data backing this up.
I think that's a curious statement that he made about the satellite imagery. He didn't say satellite imagery. I think he just said satellites. And I think historically there was some talk of them being detected by kind of infrared sensing satellites as heat sources. And there was one quote, like someone said it was 5 times the heat source of a aircraft carrier. I can't remember who that was. It might have been like some kind of Putov related type person. But yeah, like historically, these things have happened, and there's the thing about the nuclear bases where the nuclear missiles are, and you have reports that, and there's the supposed correlation between sightings and nuclear bases, and ATIP has a slide that shows this correlation that they've used in presentations. Is that even a real correlation? It's if you pick some UFO sightings that are next to bases and you pick bases and you put them on a map, then it looks like there's a correlation. But then if you take all the UFO sightings in the world, they're just everywhere. And some of those are bound to be where the nuclear bases are.
I tell you what,
But
man. I tell you what. Let's just bet $20 because I can lose
okay,
$20. Okay, so
get my $20 out.
I,
I don't have any.
I am not fully confident that the 180-day report is going to say something like we have we have we have.
$20.
Let me think. How would I word this? We have recorded and observed through sensor data collecting mechanisms that there are UFOs behaving in ways in which are not familiar to us and surpass
Mm-hmm.
anything in the American inventory. I'll go ahead and bet you $20 that something like that will be in the 188 report. I'm not sure it will be, but you know what? I'll just do it for fun.
All right, but like, what if it's just like a Chinese drone? I mean, does that count? I mean, that seems like a rather boring explanation. Like
No, if they
Chinese
if,
have
if they if they believe it's a Chinese drone, it doesn't count. So it would have to come under the umbrella
right.
of unknown source, maneuvering in ways that are beyond what we are familiar with, beyond
Yeah.
what the United States even is capable of. That kind of language will
Okay.
be in there. I'll go
All
ahead and
right.
bet you $20.
So you
Now I
think
might
that
lose it, but
the
that's okay. You need money for
right?
your Metafilm website.
I do. I do need money. It costs a bit hosting it,
Yeah, of course
uh,
it does.
but not that much. It's like $50 a month. Uh, so you think you're saying that in the report they will say that there is evidence of something that the US cannot do.
I'm willing to bet you on that. I don't know if it will say that, and I have a little reluctancy, but I'm a fun guy. I'll put a little
Okay.
twenty
All
dollar on that.
right.
Yeah, yeah. And
What if
and,
it's
and, and,
all right?
and here's the thing: if they don't do that, then John Ratcliffe maybe was a little misleading because he said that
Yeah.
they're going to declass. He's going to talk. He's going to be able to talk a little bit more about this when they declassify. Those were his words. So
I mean,
hopefully he's accurate in that regard.
I hate to quibble over details here, but I think the details are somewhat important. Like, say, what if they have radar tracks? that show something moving at 20,000 miles an hour, which is obviously beyond conventional technology. Is that actually evidence of something moving at 20,000 miles an hour, or is it evidence that the radar isn't working properly?
So they'll say that's their assessment based upon the
Okay.
sensor data they collected. I mean, that's all you could ever expect of them. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
There could be 10 glitches going on at the same time, but the U.S. government has to make the determination: do they believe this is a glitch, or do they believe that these are accurate readings?
Okay.
So
So
I'm
I
gonna
think
go
I
go
think
ahead.
that then, yeah, we would have to agree that they would have to clarify that they think it's not a glitch, essentially, in a situation like
Absolutely,
that they think it's an
absolutely.
actual object that was
I
moving in
mean,
this
let me ask you this: if they
unconventional way.
if they don't say they think it's a glitch, is it can we infer that they don't believe it's a glitch, or do they actually have to say, here
It's a
is what
tricky
we
one. That's a
found,
tricky
and
one.
we don't believe it's a glitch?
I think we'll have to kind of have a gentleman's agreement there to say, whether it's clear or not at the
Okay, fair
time,
enough. Fair enough.
as to whether they think it's
I got this is an exciting
not a
time for
glitch.
for a UFO guy like me. So putting a little money on, you watch your favorite football game, maybe it makes it a little bit more exciting. You put $20 on it. You might lose, but like
Yeah.
you get your juices flowing. So I want my juices to get flowing. So I'm gonna put $20 on it.
Well, I'm all in favor of your juices flowing. Then I've got your $20 right here,
Awesome,
and I
awesome.
shall put it in this drawer.
Do you mind if I post this on my YouTube channel?
Now go ahead.
Awesome,
I'll
awesome,
post it on mine too, and we'll
perfect, awesome. Love it,
get it
love it.
out there. So we have a bet that
And I want to make it clear to Mick West's audience, like I think Mick West does good work. I think he's made some interesting critiques of the Go Fast video. So we are not like we don't see we're not antagonistic toward each other. I just want to put that out there, just so no one gets
I'm
the
not
wrong
antagonistic
idea.
to anybody except for
Perfect.
perhaps Jeremy Corbell.
Okay.
But even then, he's a lovely guy. You can't help but like him.
I know you guys have gotten some feuds, so I understand.
We just have some disagreements on a few issues of detail and whatnot, but no big deal. We're all friends. We're all friends in ufology. All right, Ryan. Okay, so let's. I think we have it nailed down more or
Yeah, and
less, and
look,
we have
if you
a
want to,
rough gentleman's
if you want
agreement.
to afterwards change something a little bit, I'm cool with it as long as
No, it
it hovers
sounds
around
good.
this place because I just want
Yeah,
to. Basically, I'm making this more fun for me. And
sure.
if $20 is the cost of admission to make this more fun to me, fun for me, then so be it.
I mean, this is what you want because you want evidence of something that's not
And
in the
and and
current
and Mick,
world.
am I right that you'd be happy to lose this bet?
Sure, it'd be very interesting if they had that
Because
evidence.
I mean, lose the bet, and maybe the government's telling us that we might not be alone. That seems like a good deal.
Well, that would be the ideal outcome, I guess. But certainly be very very interesting. uh, all right, I think we have that sorted.